Hello everybody, welcome to Somali Christian TV, to our Somali Christian TV family. My name's NAOMI again, and this video is going to be all about how to end shame culture. But first things first, I just want to say a very, very big thank you to everybody for all the kind comments and all the just love on the last video. It was really kindly received. I was really nervous last time as well, and this kind of helped me to sort of feel a bit more confident this time. So yeah, thank you all so much. And yeah, just keep the comments coming. You know, if you have anything that you want me to talk about, or if you have anything that you want sort of to suggest for me to, you know, change or whatever the style of these videos, I'm more than open to suggestions. So yeah, please don't be shy in the comment section. So like I said, the video is going to be about shame culture, which is a huge culture in Somalia and in Somali, sort of the diaspora and the Somali community. I think it's also something that a lot of other communities face as well. So probably like the Asian sort of like, Pakistani community and people like that too have sort of got this shame culture as well. And it's just this constant sort of policing of one another, this constant of like watching what other people are doing and seeing that other people are doing something that they might see as shameful to the whole group as a whole, as a group. I just wanted to talk about that because I think it's really toxic and it's something that we should really try to change in order to kind of go forward and become more of an accepting and loving society. So what do I mean by shame culture then? For those of you who aren't familiar, it's just basically, like I said, just watching one another. It could be to do with anything as something as really like insignificant as someone being seen as trying to be a little bit more westernized. So just an example springs to mind. When I was younger, I remember there was a Somali girl who lived on my street, and all of a sudden one day she just wasn't there, and I remember asking, I don't know if I asked my mum or if I asked, the community, like someone in the community, and they said she'd actually been sent back to Somalia just for asking for a mobile phone, and they thought that she was becoming too westernized because of it, and it was bringing shame to the family. So it's just something as bizarre as that. Sometimes it's the littlest things ever that can really trigger people to be sent back to Somalia, for Dakan Ellis, which is basically being sent back for like returning to culture. And it's just not something that I'd like for us to continue doing. If we want to become more of an inclusive, a more sort of accepting society that can move forward, especially like in Somalia, we need to really change this idea that we have of like constantly watching one another and kind of trying to hide our own sins and stuff as well by doing that. It's kind of that like deflecting, isn't it? You're watching other people, you're saying stuff about other people because you don't want people to like look at what you're doing. You're trying to sort of distract people from like seeing what you're actually doing. So this shame culture is really toxic for that reason. People get sent back to Somalia for the littlest things, and then they get all sorts of abuse there, verbal, physical, whatever, if you're seen as becoming a little bit westernized. Which, if you think about it as well, how difficult is it for us to not get westernized? If we've been raised in this society that's in the West, anywhere in the West, you're sort of raised 50-50, kind of like half Somali by your Somali family and then half by society, which is westernized. So it's very, very difficult to like not, at all try to, to completely ignore the sort of Western things that are there. But to be honest, I'm hoping anyway that our sort of age group, people who are like, 20s or whatever, when we have children, that we won't do this kind of thing, because a lot of us have gone through this. A lot more people than you'd expect have been sent back to Somalia who have gone through a lot of this sort of hardships. And some of us are like still there actually, which is really sad and scary. So the way that the sort of shame culture that I see we're doing, the sort of young people, is a lot about shaming people like online. So if you see someone like a Somali girl or whatever, dressed a certain way and stuff in the comments, of like TikTok videos or Instagram posts or whatever, you can see so much abuse comes majority from other Somali people who are ashamed of her being dressed a certain way or whatever. And it's quite harmful because it's obviously it's like harassment and abuse, and it can bring, like, you never know what that person's going through. So that comment could really be, like the triggering for something that could be quite dangerous. You never know. But the way that people like are watching each other and stuff, it's scary because it's the anger that you sort of, you can get like a sort of anger and sort of hatred that these people like to kind of like when they comment and stuff on people's posts. it's not from a place of love. It's not from a place of trying to like look after the person. It's more of a place of like they're angry that you're like you dare enough to try to dress a different way, or you dare enough to express yourself in a different way that they don't agree with. So I think what we should do as sort of the Somali youth is we need to just like change that, try not to be as negative and as horrible to one another, and really think about how would you feel if somebody did the same to you. I think a lot of people don't really realize the sort of gravity of like their words and stuff, and like if a lot of people are saying horrible things to one person online, it can really topple someone's mental health. So it's really awful. So I think that in terms of shame culture, we need to end that as well. So yeah, I think that's basically all I want to say. The message is quite brief today, but I just wanted to finish with the golden rule, which is in the Bible. It's in Matthew 7:12, and it says, do unto others as you'd have them do unto you. So that's the final thoughts. And yeah, thank you so much for listening. And if you have any comments, like I said, please leave them down below. And I love you all. Thank you so much. Speak to you soon. Bye.